Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey guys, welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. I'm your host, DJ Qualls, and I'm here with my good friend Kelly Blackheart. Hey Kelly.
Hey, what's going on?
Everything.
Yeah, I know. We have so much to talk about.
It's been, a couple weeks since we've recorded?
Yeah.
I've been all over the world. I was in Columbus, Ohio, which actually I loved.
Yeah, he's a new Columbus stan.
Columbus is great. So the people are great. We had a Supernatural fan event there, and I stroll into town. The town looks like a fucking backlot. Every building is pristine. They're all different shapes, different eras, and there's nobody on the street.
It's a dream.
So actually, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I hate people. No,
I like how no people on the streets wasn't a warning sign to you. You were like, wow, amazing.
This is great.
What is this, Euphoria?
And so so we had our event. It went gangbusters. And then Sunday, I couldn't get out on Sunday night, which will lead us into our next story. I couldn't get out on Sunday night, and so I had to go home on Monday morning. So what you do, you go out. Mm-hmm. So I was by myself, and I saw this chicken joint called Roosters, and it was like a mile away in the historic part of town. So I turned left outside the hotel, start walking to Roosters. And then I'm like 2/3 of the way there, and the dive bar of my dreams appeared out of nowhere.
It's like walking through the desert.
It was, I couldn't believe it. It was shitty in the right way. It was kind of historic. There was an unattractive older man outside who waved me in. Like, I was like, I belong here. So I sat down at the bar, and I wasn't getting chicken wings anymore, so it's like, hey, do you guys have food here? And it's like, yeah, we have the best chili in the city. How is this possible? I was at my most happy.
What have I done to deserve this great fortune?
And so I ordered these chili cheese fries that were so fucking good. And then I met, then I can't tell you the rest of it.
What else happened that
weekend? Because
weekend?
then it incriminates me, and it was just great. So my car's coming at 4:00 in the morning on Monday to take me to Vancouver to see Ty. And I think the last text I sent him, my birthday was that Monday. And the last text I sent to him was, if this celebration involves any more than 3 drinks and a spaghetti bolognese, I am not interested. I'm coming in exhausted. And so I get there to the airport in Vancouver. Immigration was a dream. My baggage came right out. I was like, oh my God, I really needed this. I just need to lay down. I get through the security part and out into where you go to get your car. And Ty is standing there with a sign that says, happy birthday, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And I think that's from Jim Jeffries sent me that text asking if Ty was pregnant. And I didn't respond to him for a while because I got 90 texts that day, and I was still processing it. I mean, I thought it was funny, but I think he thought that maybe I was offended by it or something.
Which is wild because he's known you for so long. It's like, that's not the thing you would be offended by.
So I guess you told Ty that, right? How does Ty know that?
Yeah, I think I had talked about it. Maybe I showed them the clip of the live podcast where Jim was telling the story or something.
Oh, right. So I'm there, and I'm like, my only question was this. How did you cancel my car? I mean, there's no way that you could have known what car company that creation was. It really?
It was me.
I didn't know that. How did you know how to book to cancel? Did you know that I always do with? Is it?
No, okay. So should we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. So
before. Oh wait. Do I tell people? Oh, no. Let me walk through this. So Ty has canceled my car.
Yeah, I'll go into that detail later.
Ty has canceled my car, and I'm like, how did you do this? And he just says, I have my ways, right? And so I'm like, okay, funny sign. And how'd you know that? And then he was like, so Maya, our friend, was supposed to pick us up. And he was like, but she can't park outside. There's something happening out there. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. He was like, we have to go up to arrivals. I'm like, but I'm so tired, but it's still not making sense. Nothing is flagging with me.
Right.
And so I get up there and a stretch limo pulls up and I'm like, oh my God. And then I took and I was like, in my brain, so I have an object permanence thing, much like children do.
Yeah.
Like if you're staying at my house and suddenly you're behind me and I didn't picture you there, I know you're there. I get that kind of scare where you do this for 10 minutes, like so much that it's comedic.
You flail around
and then get mad
Yeah.
that you're in my house, that I knew you were there, but you weren't where I pictured you. Well, I picture people exactly where my mind thinks they are, and when they're not there, it shocks me. So I expect, well, oh my God, this is too much for 3 people. And I think that Maya's in there, and I get in, and it is all my closest friends in Vancouver, and this is where we play the video. For everybody on our Patreon, you can see the video.
That I am wine tasting in Temecula, but I'm actually at the airport about to fly to Vancouver. So, surprise.
There's Thompson and Jordan and Maya. Jessica, Keenan. So the what was because like I've been conditioned to not really absorb things like when I'm in public especially and I'm being overwhelmed by something. For example, my buddy Andrew bought me a drink at a bar once and I was surrounded by people who were saying nice things to me and I'm just trying to get through it and take photos. He brought me a drink and I did this, oh my God, thank you so much. And he poked me in the back and did, don't ever fucking do that to me. That is what you do to other people, to dismiss them, to try to get them away from you so you can get out of the situation. Your eyes had that look on them. Don't you fucking regard me. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so right. So turning around, oh hey, because I was overwhelmed by the people who were in front of me, not expecting them to be there. And the what was like, when it really hit me, I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? You said you were going to a wine tasting in Temecula.
Yeah, it's so funny because, okay, so this was 2 months ago, like 2 months before your birthday, that Ty had texted me. And it's funny because you had recently, before that, put us all on a group text. You're like, I love you both. I want you guys to know each other.
Yeah.
Like, let's all have a group chat here.
So I'm ultimately responsible
And so you
for
are
this.
responsible for this. So it was like maybe a couple weeks after that, he texted me and he's like, hey, I'd love to have you come out here to surprise DJ for his birthday. And immediately I start crying. I'm like, that's so nice that you would want to include me. Like,
soft, Kelly Blackheart. You're soft.
I am so fucking soft. But at the time, my brain wasn't really understanding how calendars worked. And so when he said it, I just was like thinking that your birthday was going to be in a couple weeks. I know when your birthday is. And it just wasn't.
I get it.
It wasn't. And I also had assumed that flights to Vancouver would be like $600. I'm like, I don't know.
It's so cheap to fly there.
I know. So I found that out and I was like, great. But the whole time I'm like, oh, I hope I can swing this. But like, how am I going to do $600? And then plus it's going to cost $300 to get Rhino a sitter and all of these things. So I was like, I'm going to try my best, but like, I can't say anything right now. And then as I realized, I'm like, oh, this is like 7 weeks away. I think I can do. And I looked at flights and they were like $230. I'm like, great. So then a couple days after he had texted me initially, we had recorded a podcast, and I don't remember if it was on the podcast or afterwards that you talked at length about how much you don't like surprises. So I text Ty back. And
I'm hard to love.
I go, hey, I just wanted to let you know we talked for like an hour about how much he doesn't like surprises. So like, I don't know if that changes anything, but I just wanted to let you know because I don't want him to be pissed about this. And he goes, he'll be fine. Basically, it's like it's the people he loves.
Yeah.
It's not like he has to be, on for all these people. And I'm like, all right, cool.
And a backup plan was ultimately in place that if I got in and was surly, that I would go back to our house and chill, and you guys would go out, and then I would be coaxed to come around. And I'm hard to love and to be coaxed to come around and go out.
So as we're figuring out the dates, like, because we didn't know when your travel would be or anything like that. And so I'm like, just let me know when you get a confirmation from him on what day he's flying in. And I don't know if you noticed, but there were multiple times that I'm like, oh, so then you're going to Vancouver right after Columbus, right? Like, what are you going on your birthday or like you going the day before? Or what? Like I was just trying to get information out of you, but
I
not
had
in a way
no
that
clue
sounded
about any
official.
of this. And see, I did. So my schedule changed. When I was in Columbus. Before I went, I just always I go there usually to events on Thursday and fly out late Sunday night. So everybody was expecting me Sunday night, and I couldn't get a flight out.
Yeah.
So the car had to be changed. People had to take time off work in the daytime. People had flown in. Hotels were booked. I had no idea of this. So I told Ty that my schedule changed, and he had the weirdest response to me. It was like, but you said Sunday.
And you're like, why do you care?
And I'm like, I know, but we're both actors. Our schedules change all the time. You know this. And then I went to this spiral thing where I'm like, is this a harbinger of ownership? Is this what it's going to be like now that we're getting married? You're going to try to tell me when I can, like, it was all of this
Tell
thing.
me where to be and when.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a grown motherfucking man. I'm DJ Qualls. You can't do
And then
this
he's
to
like,
me.
jump, and you're like, how high?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's also historically how I've been in the sack. Like I always think, because like,
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, you can't tell. So it always starts like this. Oh yeah, tell me what you like. Tell me what you do. And then I communicate that, and then 2 minutes into it, I'm like, you can't tell me what.
As soon as they open the PowerPoint presentation, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You can't tell me what to do.
So years ago, I was telling Ty about this, and he was like, "Man, that must be confusing for people." Surprise, motherfucker! Now it's confusing for you.
Yeah. So originally he's coming in on the 9th for sure.
Yeah.
I just got the confirmation. He's like, I would love for you to come on the 8th so we could spend some time together. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we've only hung out twice, I think, outside of that, and both times were with you. And so it's like, I'd love to get to know you. And so I was like, great, I'll come in on the 8th at night. And then probably the week before, he's like, he's coming on the 10th now. And he's like, but no worries, we got more time to hang out together. I'm like, okay, great. So
ballsy. I told you this. Like, if I found out that I was going to hang out with somebody for a few short hours the day before somebody I knew was coming in, I'd be like, cool with it. If I found out another 24-hour period was added to that, I would fucking panic.
yeah, but like I know how much you love these people, and especially it's like
I love them
Ty,
very much.
right? You
Yeah.
know, I
Ty's
know
so
how much
easy.
you love him. I knew it wasn't going to be hard for us to
He's an
get
easy
along.
hang. He's the
He's a
definition
very
of an
easy
easy
hang.
hang.
So I fly in on the 8th. Maya and Ty pick me up, and they're like, what do you want to do tonight? I'm like, oh, I had not thought about that at all, because my flight got in at like 9:30 p.m. or
Yeah.
10 or something like
But
that.
the sun goes down there at 10 o'clock at night in the
That fucked
summertime.
me up, by the way. I'll get into that. But so they picked me up, and I was like, well, why don't we just go back to the house, and then we can, you know, figure out if we want to go do something. But we ended up sitting at the house, and just he's getting me seltzers, and every time he gets up to go do something, he checks my seltzer to see if it's empty, and it's like halfway full. He gets me a new one, and I'm like,
He's an enabler.
He's an enabler. But it was so like, he's so hospitable, and Maya is fucking incredible. Like she and
great.
I clicked immediately. I love her. So we stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you
that
guys
night.
almost wrong night wad blew.
Well, then we almost wrong night wad blew the second night too. So the next morning we wake up at like maybe 9. Ty's pouring me coffee. He's like, you want Bailey's? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, you have
then
to.
he and I got Maya had to go on a journey to the United States to go pick up like a new generator for the hot tub for the patio or whatever. Like,
was that was that weekend?
yeah, she went on her own journey that day,
Yeah.
and Ty and I went to go like get supplies and all that stuff for the next day. So we went to breakfast. We had mimosas there. We went and got balloons.
Oh,
and
did you
all
go to
of-
Basic?
I
The
think
Basic
so.
on Denman?
Yeah,
I
we
love that
just, like,
place.
Sat on the street and had
It's-
mimosas. Yeah, their eggs Benedict are good.
It's fucking good.
Liked it a lot. So we had some mimosas. We went and got supplies. We got alcohol, all that stuff, and then we came back to the house and sat on the. I mean, I fucking love this patio. I love drinking on patios. That
Like,
is like the
which
level of my
patio?
outdoorsy. His
Oh,
deck.
a rooftop deck?
Yeah, the deck.
That rooftop deck is a find,
We
man.
sat on that deck
Oh,
for
there's
the
the
next
Basic.
fucking 10 hours probably, and he and I just sat there drinking, and we were just on Spotify. We were queuing up songs that we thought the other person would like, just based on kind of the vibes
Oh,
of the
that's
last song they
nice.
showed. So like we both discovered new music together, and I went to a dispensary, got some weed, so I'm just sitting up there on the patio. Like
Yeah,
we were
but
just
by the
having
way,
a
you left
really
your
chill
weed
day.
in the living room.
I left it because I was like, I'm not gonna worry about getting in trouble for one joint. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's somebody that's going to come through this place at some point and want to smoke
Yeah,
weed.
that's exactly what Ty said. I said, Kelly left her weed here, and we don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, good. Now we have something for guests.
Yeah, that was the point.
Look,
is
look at
like,
the food at the basic. That's actually what
Yeah.
it looks like too.
it was really good.
It's so good.
And then Maya finally comes back, I think probably around 7 p.m. It's hard to tell what the hours were because of the fucking sunlight.
It's like being at the Grateful Dead show. Their songs are 91 minutes long,
yes.
so you don't know where you are in the progress of your day.
Like at one point, it was still fucking daylight. It was like right before sunset where you're like, oh, okay, I can see that the sun's not bright now, but
Yeah.
it's still daylight. And then I looked at my phone and it was at 9:30. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? I was so disoriented.
It's amazing because they're just far enough north, and you don't really think about that. Like, but I mean, it's 1,000 miles north of here.
Yeah.
But where they are in the world, in the summer, the sun goes down almost at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
It gets dark at 10 p.m., right?
Yeah.
But what fucks you up, though, is that if you're a dirtbag, the sun comes up at like 4:15 in the morning. So you find yourself at 4 o'clock in the morning doing this. I gotta go. You're running down the street. Because being out, I hate this almost more than anything. Coming home in the daylight, there's a part of Vancouver that I can no longer go out in called Kitsilano. It's all like women in Lululemon yoga attire running with strollers.
Yeah.
And they come
make
out
you feel badly about yourself
at
in
the
the morning.
crack of
Yeah.
dawn, and I was wearing a velvet tuxedo and was walking down the street trying to find a cab. And
They don't know if you're going
it
somewhere to a
was
jazz show
so-
early or something like that.
It was so stressful that I don't like going back to that part of town anymore. People are
Yeah.
like, hey, do you want to come out and Kits for a drink tonight? I'm like, 100% pass.
Seeing people work out while you're coming home from a night
It's
out
the
is
worst.
it's troubling.
I think for
for
some
everybody.
people, they would find it so jarring, they would change their activities. I refuse to learn anything. I stopped learning in
You just
1992.
stop we don't go around there no more.
Don't come here no more.
So that night I looked in my purse and I had like crumbled up bits of the chocolates from the Dead show.
Oh, the mushroom chocolates?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, first of all, Ty's the patio up there is expansive. It's huge,
glorious.
and it's just covered in trees. And I'm like, this is such a dream, and it's so dense with
And
trees.
Ty has a green thumb. Like all those plants he's kept
Yeah.
alive for like 2 years.
Yeah, I was totally sober. I was sitting on there going, oh, this would be a great place to do mushrooms.
And that's our Christmas tree, by the way. That pine tree that we have in that big pot that's out there, that we bring that in every year for Christmas and decorate it and then put it back out before it dies.
cute.
Isn't that nice?
Cute.
We're economic or ecologically responsible.
Yeah. So I decided I was like, I'll just eat some of these crumbs or whatever. But I was like, there aren't that many chocolates left in here, so I'm sure I won't trip.
Cut
at
to
all.
you. Ty's like trying to fill your drink up. There are people coming in and out of the living room, and you have your purse upside down, like jingling the crumbs of a mushroom chocolate into your mouth.
I didn't even eat all of them, and I was like, they're not gonna make me trip. But then it got kind of windy, and the trees are so dense, and they're trippy even if you're sober.
Yeah.
And so all this, Ty's sitting across from me, and so he's sitting with the trees backing him, and I swear to God, Maya will back me up on this. Every time he talked and was like passionate about something, the wind would blow through the trees, and it would be like a choir of fucking trees being like, he's right. And so I was like, this is crazy, but it was really fun. So then we do that, wake up the next morning, where we go to the what was it, the Moose?
Yeah, the Moose.
The Moose.
The Moose is on Nelson at Granville. Granville's the main sort of bar area.
So they normally open at 2. They opened at 10 a.m. for us so that we could go there and decorate. So we put up balloons and streamers and all of that.
Thank you
stuff.
so much, Ashley. Ashley's the owner.
Yeah,
and Benny, who was the bartender.
Yeah, Benny's awesome.
And Jillian.
They were so
Hi, Jillian.
great. Yeah. Everybody there was awesome. We go there, and then Ty's like, fuck, he's got a car service coming. And I was like, he's like, I don't know how we're gonna get him in the limo, because he's not gonna like send his car service home, because that
And
would
here's
be
the
an
thing,
asshole
I don't
move.
wait for a second.
Yeah.
Too. If the car service isn't there, right when I get it, I'm in an Uber.
Yeah.
I don't wait for anything when I'm at the airport.
And I was like, fuck, I don't know. And I was like, hold on, let me message Dina. And so
Oh my God, that subterfuge. So Dina, for those of you
Dina
who
was
haven't,
in on it.
for those of you who don't subscribe to our Patreon and haven't done our live happy hours, Dina is my minder, and a minder. She does all my creation shows, which does the Supernatural North American tour. She is a special ed teacher in Chicago, and then she flies out to meet me wherever I am in the United States on the weekend.
She's your bodyguard.
And basically, she handles like the money transactions and gets me from point A to point B. Hi, Dina, I love you.
So I met Dina in Hawaii, and I love her to death, and so we're friends. And I was like, I don't have her phone number, but I have her Instagram. So like, let me send a message. But I rarely check my Instagram DMs, so I'm like, what are the chances that she checks this anytime soon? And like 10 minutes later, I was like, hey Dina, I know this is fucking crazy, but we're trying to surprise DJ. I'm in Vancouver right now. Do you know any information about how we could cancel his car service? And she's like, I was just talking to the person who, she's like, on a flight right now, like, let me know. And I was like, yeah, cancel it, do it. And so she handled it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks, Dina.
Thanks, Dina.
I'm gonna fuck with her though on a Friday in Seattle, and be like, because this won't be out yet. I'm like, what the fuck were you doing canceling my car? You don't have a right to do that. I'm gonna push you down the stairs.
How dare? Yeah, so you got into the limo. I was sitting in the trunk with Josh and Tiffany, but they were showing their faces. I had the
So Josh and Tiffany
are
are my friends from Mississippi.
Yeah. And so there was multiple shocks when you looked in the trunk, but I was covering my face with a hat.
Oh yeah, you guys were sitting in the trunk area.
Yeah, because we had too many people. Too many people loved you. We couldn't all fit in a stretch limo. But that's when I pulled it down, is when you started going, what? And it was a great surprise. And it was so funny because throughout the day, DJ would look at me, because I was trying my very best to not monopolize his time. Like, I knew all of these people like DJ and I hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't coming there to be babysat by him or be by his side or whatever. I was like, I want to meet all these people that he loves and give them the opportunity to spend time with you and all of that stuff. So I was just hanging out with all these other people, and throughout the day you would like turn around and be like, this is crazy. I'm looking at you with my Vancouver people.
It kept blowing my mind. Like, what are you doing in my reality?
But I fucking loved everybody.
That's
like
great.
I got along with everybody so well. They made me feel so welcome, but like just in general, it didn't even feel like they had to try to fit me in. It's just, you have good people around you, and we all bonded, you know?
So one of the things, so it was one mind-blowing thing after the next, but one of the most profoundly mind-blowing things is that you guys got Jordan West into a party van or to a party limo. Like, that is the friendship the friendship in my life that I have worked for the hardest. Like, so Jordan West, she's a writer, and she wrote a book, and I don't want to butcher the title. I haven't read it because I'm always afraid when somebody writes something that you love, that if you don't respond to it. But I'm going to read it because literally every person who has read this book, it's on Amazon, talks about how awesome it is. It's so awesome that there's interest in it from, making it. I don't want to talk too much about her projects, but
it's not that. It has men in the title, right?
Hold on, I have it right here. All men are assholes and all women are crazy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. And I think it's about her take on relationships based on her dating history.
Right.
It's super personal, and everybody says it's insightful and funny. And I think, even though you're like, ew, books, what are those? I think we should both read it. And
oh no, I love reading books.
And so
I was just confused that you read books.
All right. I'm smart.
No, I know you're smart. It had never come up in conversation that you're like,
I read books all the time. I was reading a book last night.
No, I listen.
It had pictures in it.
I wasn't judging you for reading books, first of all, and I didn't think that you're not capable of reading books. I just figured it wasn't. How
Top
do you
priority.
fit it in time with the block?
All right, I get it. So the block is my life. No, it's because I'm in airports and on planes all the time. But yeah, all men are assholes and all women are crazy. I'm going to read it, and we're going to talk about it on the podcast.
I'm happy
As a matter
to
of
read it.
fact, I think, I don't want us to get into a guest situation, but I think it would be fun to have her
for sure
on the show.
I think eventually we will bring guests on. It won't be a weekly thing, but I
Just
think
when
there
we
are
want
plenty
to.
of really interesting people in our lives.
And that's what I want to do. I want to do people who well, not do people.
Retro.
I want to interview people who, poor noise. I want to interview. Gotta get that gallon.
By the way,
don't have it. And I give you compassion. Always in
Lavish
fashion.
came out, and it's the greatest. It came
It's the
out
song of the summer.
like the day before or the week before our episode with those clips actually went
Oh, really?
live. Like, because it went live on Patreon maybe the day that it went live, but those clips that we're gonna post saying please release the video.
Bob had to approve it, right?
Yeah, Bob had to approve it.
Bob
And
had
I
to
guess
approve
we're
it.
Bob.
Yeah. Well,
We might be Bob.
we are now referring to ourselves only as Bob. I can't recommend this song enough. Guys,
It's therapy.
it's Qveen Herby, Qveen Herby, and I got it on iTunes the day it came out.
He
and
Venmo'd me $1.50.
Yeah,
to buy
I
it,
did. I Venmo'd her $1.50,
which is funny because I have Spotify.
Yeah,
Premium.
also,
So
Sucker.
straight to the bank with that $1.50.
so, and I also my friend Tiffany, who I visited just now in San Diego, I Venmo'd her $1.50.
Oh, I actually have a video of DJ dancing to Qveen Herby in Vancouver. I'll send it to you, Isaac.
Have I seen this?
Well, what's funny is, okay, so the day of your birthday, obviously, like, it's a big drinking day and we're at the bar all day. And then Maya and I, when we were at the bar, they had turned the hockey game on at some point. And, like, I love hockey.
Yeah, because the Canucks, the
Oilers and the Panthers were playing.
Yeah.
And I love
Edmonton.
hockey, but it did definitely bring the mood down of the party. Like, it kind of just put a damper on everything because they turned the sound on, and so everybody was watching the game instead of talking.
I don't
and all
remember that.
stuff. And so Maya and I were like, let's move the party to another location. Like, let's go back to the house
yes.
because
Okay, that's why people are saying let's go home.
we're losing people. And so she and I went back early. We went and picked up more stuff and all of that. But
Ty thought he lost my luggage and my Prada backpack.
yeah, that's funny because we were standing with your bags outside the bar as we were about to get into our Uber. Like, we have your bags, and you guys were like,
I don't remember this. And so I turned to Ty at one point, and I'm like, I was going in for, I don't remember what I was looking for, like gum or something. And I'm like, have you seen my backpack? And his face went completely white. And he was like, oh, fuck, I'll go right now. And I'm like, Ty, there is a Rolex, my passport, there's a lot of things in that
your backpack.
And so I wasn't worried, but when he's like, I think I left it at the Moose, but when he looked worried, I was like, I'm worried.
yeah, we had your bags, and you guys knew it in some reality. You didn't know it in real life. But so don't play it
By
yet.
the way, I hadn't slept.
I know.
So my car came at 4:00 in the morning in Columbus, and I am so paranoid about missing flights that the only way I could get through that was to push through and go to the airport. Then I get on the flight and there's a crying baby next to me, so I kept nodding off, but I had no solid sleep. And then I get to Minneapolis, and I went to a bar, and I was so concerned. Like, do I look overserved? Like, I got so in my head about my own reality and how I was presenting that I sat there and sipped a cocktail, and then I was worried I was too drunk to get on the flight. So all of these things that were not reality started talking to me, and so on the flight I could not get sleep. So I really was thinking in my head when I got off the plane, all I have to do is get through like 3 more hours.
Yeah.
Like, all I have to do
go to sleep all day.
is go out to dinner, have a few cocktails, and I'll be right asleep.
And then you ended up not sleeping for a whole nother day because we get through the whole day of we brought the party back to the house and everybody's hanging out and all that stuff. But I had kind of just hit my social battery level. It's hard too when you're new, and so every conversation is like deep lore or like really getting to know somebody,
like referential shit from other times.
It's not like I can be blasé with people. I'm trying to have energy and give them the energy, and so I think it was like 11 or 12. I was just like, I have to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I fucking have to go. And the party was nowhere near ending.
Yeah, and then I'm on hosting duty at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So I went to my room and Maya keeps coming in and like, come outside. I'm like, I truly cannot. Like my brain can't even think of words.
That's
at this
a good
point.
Maya too. That's what her
she was like laying on top of me. She's
Yeah.
like, come outside. I'm like, I can't. But you guys have fun. Like, don't worry. I'm all good. There's nothing happened. I just need to fucking lie down. And I would get up periodically in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom because I have to pee all the time. And I would just like go to the bathroom and try to avoid being noticed by any of you guys, because every time I did, you guys were like, Kelly, come party. And then at one point you stand up with Lavish playing and you're doing the floss. But this was the next morning.
Was this after I slept?
Yeah.
What's in my hand?
That's your phone. You were dancing around the whole house. It's a really, really short video. Play it again.
And so this is how I know that Vancouver and that house in particular are my happy spots, because I wake up every morning and run to the living room and do this.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Even when I feel, and then I go back to sleep. But
yeah,
even when I'm feeling like shit, I wake up and have that sort of feeling.
Yeah, because I woke up at like 9, I think, the next morning, and you and Maya were passed out, and I was like, I'm not gonna wake anybody.
Oh
up.
yeah,
That's crazy.
That photo.
So I walked down to the beach. I hung around. I went to some of the shops. I had lunch, all that stuff. I came back, and I think around like maybe 1 or 2, you had woken up. Or Maya was up, she was leaving for work. I had brought back some like baked goods and stuff like that for everybody, and she had to go to work. And then you finally woke up and you were like, am I allowed to feel a type of way about you leaving today? Like, because I didn't get to hang out with you at all yesterday, and now you're leaving. And I was like, I have to go back. And then you wanted to financially bribe me to stay. You said, how much is it going to take? And I was just like,
I don't buy your time.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have a social battery anymore. I'm so sorry. I have to leave.
But you can't afford this.
Yeah. It was hard to turn down money, but I missed Rhino, but also I just knew that I would be boring as hell if I stayed another day.
Yeah, this is the aftermath. I'm going to send this to you, Isaac.
Is it you guys sleeping?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
carefully looked after. Hold on. To make sure that
fucking out.
nobody's body parts are exposed. Hold on. Loaded pod. It's like it's happening in real time. Okay, hold on.
Just as a reminder, no edits.
This is a free podcast. Fuck off.
I was literally making a note, like cut dead air at 31.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, let them have it.
People, it makes people feel like they're with their parents when when things go dead for a while they search through their phone.
Look at this. That is the aftermath.
Yeah, you guys were just.
I was sleeping soundly.
Yeah.
But look, that's the birthday hat that I was forced to wear.
Yeah.
It's a hat with candles all over it.
Yeah, that was my pick. I said, oh, we need this. I was like, I don't know if he'll wear it, and then you did.
I wore it for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
That looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, how we're sleeping?
Yes.
That chair
chair's
is
really
so
comfortable,
but it's the fucking Bermuda Triangle. All my belongings wind up in that chair.
Yeah, in the time that we were talking, the 30 minutes that we were talking while you were in that chair the next day,
I lost
you
like 6 things.
So many fucking things. But yeah, overall,
Where's your hand?
It was a great fucking trip for
It was
me.
amazing.
I am so grateful to have met all of these people, and that they were so kind to me, and that you were like we were able to surprise you.
Yeah.
And that you were
I'm
happy
tough.
about the surprise, because it took you a while to get into the fucking limo, by the way, too, because you saw the limo and you had this reaction. So as I have a longer video of you, but I'm going because you pulled out your phone. I go, he's calling an Uber right now.
So my first reaction must have looked like this. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. This is so ridiculous and not what I came for. And then I was like, well, fine, let's take a photo in front of it. And then I did. No idea that it was packed with people.
Surprise.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. I have too much.
I didn't know if people were witnessing me.
I had too much pride. Yeah, but it was great. And I've come to learn over the years that your birthday in Vancouver is to be dreaded. That it will always last longer than you expect it to. And I'm glad it only happens once a year.
Well, I'm calling on Maya and Ty to surprise him again for my birthday, because he's flying to Vancouver on my birthday.
Right. Your birthday is in 5 days.
It is.
I won't be here.
I know you're going to Vancouver,
but I'm taking you to Giorgio Baldi on. Oh, we're taping that day. Did we do that on the day after we tape?
Do we do what?
Because we have our live. No, that's not that week. What?
You didn't tell me a day for Giorgio Baldi. So
I thought it would be this Sun. So I get back into town on.
Maybe cut this part out.
Yeah, or maybe not.
Yeah, or maybe not.
This podcast is free.
See how we live.
Yeah, I'm back here on the 9th. Oh yeah, we don't have a date. Well, let's pick a date after.
We could
the
do
podcast.
it then because he's gone. That's why we're not recording then. So we could do it the week that you come back. That he's
perfect.
not here.
Perfect.
Great. Glad you guys were here for that. What are we
Don't
at
cut this
time-wise?
I'm cutting it out for the Patreon folks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They deserve
They're paying
more.
too much to hear this bullshit.
But
Dude, your
honestly,
accent just came out so hard.
Well, that's because I'm going to Nashville.
Paid me.
Yeah.
They paid too much.
also our
hate it.
Patreon members, they
Y'all
love
should
this
come over
shit.
later. Peggy made a cobbler.
They
Oh, hell no.
They support everything we do. I even just posted a video the other day of us at the bar when the AC broke and you were wearing an ice hat.
And we really appreciate. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It was hot as fuck.
It was so hot.
And if I feel heat, things are going sideways because I never feel heat.
Yeah. When you were complaining about it being hot, I'm like, how am I not dripping sweat right now?
I must
Because
have been close to a heat
I've
stroke.
never heard you talk about
Your
being
face
hot.
looks hot. Is
yeah,
that you?
It's red because it's fucking hot in there.
Play that.
We're at trivia and the bar is unreasonably hot right now, so DJ has his own.
I look
Ice hat.
profoundly unhappy.
Happy Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, it was so fucking hot.
It was brutal because the air conditioner was broke, right?
And
Did you say that?
Pete radiates heat.
Yeah, Pete. So, can we talk about Pete?
Yeah, I mean, we love
Pete. So, Pete.
That actually sounded so disingenuous. We actually do
love Pete.
Stop saying it at the same time. It sounds sarcastic and we say it at the same time.
But
We
we
do
do
love Pete.
You talk.
We love Pete.
We actually have
He's a
conversations
quirky
about how much
character,
we
though.
like Pete.
He's a
Is Pete the is Pete the bartender?
No,
No.
he's sometimes on our trivia team.
So, are we?
We can't
did you
hear
mute us or no?
You muted yourself.
I muted myself.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't ever have to be muted. We like
Yeah.
you not being
I
muted.
hit the solo button.
Yeah, and
sorry.
also in the Patreon, people are saying, "Yeah, Isaac, you should talk on mic."
Yeah, we
more."
like you. And you have a good voice. And he's handsome too, but he's
And
taken.
What about those hands?
Oh, what great hands.
Oh my god!
I started fucking with Isaac saying how hot I thought his hands were.
So I started sending DJ pics of like empty hand job gestures.
With your hands?
And now
you're not making him pay?
Now I've stopped watching porn.
That's so good.
Oh, by the way, about that video about you guys being hot, I saw that about 4 minutes after you guys canceled yesterday's session, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Oh, you thought we were
guys drank
hungover?
too much.
No.
last night.
No.
We didn't drink nearly at all.
I mean,
Our bar tab was $24.
Yeah, I was. Well, it's also because.
Yeah, but
yeah, I've been out in the world so much lately that I was overexposed. I've been in public every day for almost 3 weeks in a row, and what happens that it's such an energy, like exchange, that I have to have a down day. And now I know that if I'm coming off the road, I need to have a buffer day between that and recording because I didn't want to come in here and phone it in or try to make myself feel all right enough to do this because I value this.
Yeah.
I value this time. I want to be on in the right way. I want to be vulnerable enough to talk about like real stuff and laugh and all that stuff. And I don't want our quality to suffer.
yeah, I
didn't want to suffer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it completely. Like, it's funny because when you were talking about, I went and saw Inside Out 2. I saw it twice in 4 days.
What is that?
Okay, so Inside Out is a Pixar movie. I believe it's Pixar. And when it first came out, it wasn't that popular, and I was begging people
there
to
it
watch
is.
it because it is
Oh,
so
yeah, I saw that.
fucking profoundly good. And it's been not only in my top animated movies since it came out. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Like, it is that good.
I
to
never
me.
knew that.
It is so fucking brilliant to me. And so the second one came out, and of course you're always worried that the sequel is not going to live up to the original and all that stuff. The second one is therapy. I cried. I fucking loved it so much. So the second one, if you haven't seen the first one, it's basically about this little girl And the characters that we're mostly watching are her emotions, and it's joy, sadness, disgust,
And they all take physical
anger, and they're
beings?
little characters, and it's
Okay.
basically how they're running her brain center, and they've got Memory Island and all of these things, and it's like how a human is formed. We're basically seeing the inner workings of a human.
Okay.
And the second one is when the girl, basically the catalyst is she starts puberty, right? And so now all of these new emotions are being introduced to her.
right.
And so there's new characters. And among the new characters, you've got fucking anxiety. And
That's Maya Hawke.
yeah, Maya Hawke was anxiety. And goddamn, it was just such a brilliantly done movie. So basically there are all these elements, right? There are these core memories that can be brought to this place that creates the person's sense of self. But Joy is this character who's like, well, I want Riley to be really happy. So like all of the memories that are kind of bad, like let's kind of put them away and only send the good ones to her sense of self. It's like, I'm a good person, blah, 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 whatever. And then anxiety gets introduced, and what you realize is that anxiety as an emotion, or I guess if that's what we're going to call it, when you're young and it's first introduced, anxiety is really practical, right? Like anxiety is something that wants to protect you.
Yeah.
It's hey, I shouldn't do that, and blah, blah, blah. And so often
It's your sort of guide to navigate the
it's
world.
the guide to keep yourself safe. And so often the things are so simple when you're young that the way you react due to anxiety ends up coming to fruition. You're like, oh, thank God I was prepared for that thing. But as you get older, you have a lot more ideas about what can happen because you've seen a lot more stuff
Right.
and your imagination's better. And so anxiety starts to spiral. And really all it's doing is trying to keep you safe, but unchecked.
Yeah,
it's
bad.
really fucking
It
dangerous.
will limit you.
And so there's this scene where Riley, the character, is having a panic attack, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just crying because I'm like, oh my God, it really was so helpful to see this on screen and see these as characters in my brain that individually they all have their goals and their needs, right? Like anger is a certain thing. It's like, oh, I want to get the fucking rage out and I want to get revenge and all this stuff. But all of these emotions have to work together. And we are not any single thought or emotion. We are a combination of all of them. And so our bad memories, just as much as our good memories, are so important to who we are as people.
Right.
And it's not just I am kind and I'm good and I'm all these things. I'm also selfish and I'm also these things. And that's what makes me me. If you haven't seen it yet and you liked the first one, highly suggest it. If you haven't seen either of them, like my mom just watched the first one the other day because I was raving about it to her, and she's like, I loved it. It was so
I'd
cute.
never heard of these movies
Oh my
before.
God.
I mean,
This will go on our list.
Inside Out
They're-
2, I saw the preview for it, but it didn't register with me.
I think the writing is just so fucking profound. It's really funny, but it's also so insightful and devastating and brilliant. It's kudos to everybody on the
I will
Inside Out
definitely
team.
watch that. We'll watch that together.
Yeah.
By the way, who's Paul Walter Hauser?
He's a comedian, which is really. Did you see Rick Glassman's?
Yeah, dude, Paul is like the hottest comedian dude.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
he's a comedian.
Also, so that's also my type. Can you click on him?
Yeah, we could get that.
He was in Blackbird.
Oh, he's
He
cute.
was the on the Apple TV show Black.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, he plays the bad guy, and then the Atlanta bombing movie, he plays the bomber guy.
Oh, he does.
Did
Is he?
you-
I know who that is.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor.
Did you see him on Rick Glassman's podcast? Did you see that clip?
I couldn't watch it.
So you could.
Tell you later.
Okay. So Rick Glassman
He was in jail.
has one of the best podcasts I think ever. I truly think he's fucking genius. Take your shoes off. Rick Glassman, great work. But he was on there, and at the time of recording, he got an email for an offer for Inside Out 2. So it was like it's a
happening in real
recorded
time.
moment that he's like looking at his phone going, wait, they mentioned money. That must mean it's an offer. I don't know if I'm going in to read for this or whatever. And he had said, like, just before he got the email, like, it's a dream to do a Pixar movie and all that stuff. And so it's cool to
that's so
have that
nice.
moment on film, the moment of shock, because he
Yeah.
was like processing the whole thing.
How old is this guy? 37?
37.
Yep.
Oh, he's still young.
I mean, the cast for both movies is insane. Like this
Yeah,
is the cast
it's
for one.
unbelievable. Yeah, it is just, it's so funny. It's so good.
Not to bring down the tone, but you know what I hear when I hear when they're a movie that's really successful and they do a follow-up movie, and there's a different cast, it always makes me think, 'cause I'm so cynical about Hollywood, it's because they don't want to pay anybody.
Oh, well, the original cast is
Are still there?
They just added new characters.
Okay. So like Amy Poehler's still there.
Yes, she still plays Joy. So all of the main emotions are still there,
Okay.
and that's part of the thing too. Is they're
Mindy Kaling, that whole
they're
group.
dealing with this fucking uproarious new emotions that want to keep, like, they send them, anxiety sends them to jail. They get bottled up.
Oh, right.
They become bottled up emotions,
Like
and
all
anxiety
those
takes
childhood
over.
emotions
Yeah.
get-
Yeah, and so it really
that's
is interesting when you think about it logically and how that actually is how your brain kind of fucking works. You forget about joy once you get older because anxiety takes over, and all of a sudden you can't be in the moment. You can't. It's like, be where your fucking feet are, and you can't do that when you get older because anxiety is just like in
Won't let you.
overdrive. Yeah.
And John Ratzenberger's in it. I think he's in
Yeah.
every Pixar movie ever.
Yeah, he's got a voice for cartoons.
Yeah, John played our father in Legit.
Yep. Jim does a great impression of him.
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Call him.
If you guys haven't seen Legit, it's streaming somewhere. It's something I'm really proud of. There's 26 episodes, I think, of brilliance.
Yeah, such a great
canceled
show.
way before its time, and the people that canceled it have subsequently acknowledged it to us. And instead of being happy about it, I'm still mad.
Yeah.
It was such a freeing experience, and I loved it so much. So if you haven't seen Legit, I cannot recommend
very
it highly
bingeable.
enough.
It's on Hulu if you've got a Hulu subscription.
Yeah,
It's probably it's on other shit too. Yeah.
Yeah, is it on Hulu?
Yeah.
And for those of you who know me personally, I can't watch anything that I've ever done, and that I could watch and loved.
Yeah.
Because it was just so awesome.
Yeah. It's a fucking great show. Do we want? Wait, what time are we at? 45?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when
You have a look on your face like I'm not gonna like this.
No, you're gonna love it.
Okay.
Remember?
You baloney bitches don't have it, and I give you. Washing down this sandwich, you baloney bitches don't have it.
Remember last night when my car got sideswiped?
Oh, yes. Hey, that actually is a good teaser. Let's leave that for the next episode. Kelly's car got sideswiped. Film at 11.
And I got a note.
All right. Because she got to know. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to see the video portion, it's available at patreon.com/loadedpod.
You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok at loadedpod. Email us at probablyloadedpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, we
I
wanna
have
hear
so
from
many
you.
fucking emails for the next episode.
Let's start with the story and then go into
emails.
We'll go into emails.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a good.
I just realized there was a section that I wasn't even checking that had emails in it. So
you matter to us. The fact that you're listening to us makes us feel 10 feet tall. And you don't have to join the Patreon. We're available at Apple and Spotify. Tell a friend. We want this to grow and keep doing it because we love doing it.
Yeah, and we will be doing our next happy hour live on Zoom July 16th at 5 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to join that, go to patreon.com/loadedpod. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be playing the world's shittiest game show.
We're going to be playing the world's shittiest game show for real prizes.
Yeah, he's got some plates.
I've got some 18th century Chinese porcelain I'm trying to get rid of.
It's going to be, I'm very excited for the next live.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
It's a good time. So join us. We'll see you next time.
And if you're all caught up on Locked and Loaded, check out Kelly's other podcast.
Oh yeah, the Unsolicited Podcast.
I've guested on that podcast a few times, and it's always a good time.
I'm always a little fearful of plugging it because I'm like,
you should plug your stuff.
There's
nobody else is plugging you right now at this point in your life. You should plug yourself.
Is that a euphemism for sex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
There's
Okay,
nothing
bye.
subtle about me at all. We talked about this yesterday. Bye. Bitches don't have it.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast.
Where things will be misquoted.
And opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.